Now you watching can tell many different stories and create many different narratives about what you've just seen Luthuli do. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Oh, he walked out of this lodge wearing slippers or wearing a mapatapata. You know, and then he sat down with this group of alcoholics, posing black label. At 10 o'clock in the morning, he sat down with them and he started drinking with them, you know. I love engaging with people. But I went out to go buy a bar of soap to come back and wash. So this homeless narrative is incorrect. I'm not homeless.
Do you believe celebrities should have more privacy rights? Today's guest has been stirring quite a lot of controversy all over South Africa. Sadly, it is not about his prominent acting career, but rather his living condition. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Uncaged. My name is Masi, Biyela, and today's guest is none other than the amazing Luthuli Dlamini.
Thank you for calling me amazing and not homeless. I really appreciate that.
It is my pleasure. But before we get into what South Africa has been talking about, let's just give our viewers a little background on who Luthuli Dlamini is. I'm just going to mention a few things. We do know that you were born in Bulawayo, Zimbabwe.
Bulawayo, that's correct.
And also you were raised, you grew up in England. And of course, we do know you in our local soapies, which is Generation, we have Rockville, we have Uzalo, just to mention a few. But of course, it is your prominent role in Scandal as Stan Nyati.
Yes.
But also, you have won quite a lot of awards. I'm just going to mention in these film festival.
Yes.
You were...
That was for The Furnace, a movie called The Furnace.
Okay. Yeah. All right. But also talking about movies, there is one that you just released.
Yes, The Cold Father, independent production, shot it last year or the beginning of this year in Cape Town. Yeah. It's a nice experience.
Nice experience.
Yeah.
Okay, so where can people, or you want to give us that?
No, please download it or watch it on YouTube. It's just come off Amazon Prime. It's now free for YouTube. It's free now on YouTube. Watch it. It's homegrown, and it's a nice story. It's kind of like a daddy looking for daughter in jail. And it's the daughter and. Interviewed a few people using a lie detector machine. Yeah. Wow. So it's an illustration of what you can do when you put your mind to it.
That is amazing. I'm sure that you did work with some amazing people.
And it was the beautiful thing about it for me is that for the last 6-7 years we've been working on developing the youth. And introducing them to the industry. We've got a company called Behind the Blazer Film Festival, where we teach grade 10 kids how to make movies.
Okay.
And we introduce them to the movie industry. We've been doing that for the last 6 years. We go stay in various parts of the country for a few months and we workshop them. And on this particular production, we worked with kids from the Cape Town University, I think. And that we're developing within the industry. And it was great fun. It was wonderful to see, just how passionate the youth are today. So this movie, the majority of this movie was actually made by kids. You know what I mean?
Stop.
Which is a blessing. This is what we've been doing and what we care to do and what we are continuing to doing. And this place that we are in now, Art Vision, here in Durban. A home for creatives. creatives who wouldn't otherwise have an opportunity to gain access to the industry. And we like to work with people like that. And our focus is on developing the youth and the industry. They're going to be the next generation of superstars, movie makers, content creators, and often, well, not often, but the fact is they do not have access to the industry.
Yeah.
Places like Art Vision, because of its unique positioning within Durban, allows the local guys, those who have an interest in creativity, the creative arts, to actually pursue or at least get information as to how they can pursue a creative career. It's like an oasis in a desert, if you like, and that's Art Vision.
I love how you mentioned that you were working with a lot of young people. From having a conversation with you outside of the camera, you seem more of a grounded person who's like follows. How do I put it? Follows more of the olden, culture. So I just want to know, was it challenging for you? Working with young people, having to kind of like converse with what's happening now?
Not at all. I love the youth.
Yeah.
You old people are so bloody boring. You're trying to impress, you're trying to grow, and you're trying to do the right thing. These youngsters coming out of varsity now just want to get shit done. Do you know what I mean? And they're led by their passion. They don't mind waking up at 4:00 in the morning. There's no complaint. They don't have to brush their teeth, and you know what I mean. They just want to get the job done. They want to get their message across, and they want to get their ideas across. They want to get their passion across and their message, and they want to contribute. You know what I mean? You've got a kid fresh out of university who says, "Dlamini, why don't you try this?" And you think, what the fuck for? And then you try it, and actually,
you actually see
it works, and it's great. And I love that learning process. I love their passion. I mean, I feed off people's passion, and it's nice to be, to be sort of like introduced to where the youthful mind is. It keeps me sort of young. I don't know.
In a way.
Yeah, in a way.
Okay. All right.
Sort of.
Well, now that we have that out of the way, I know you are dying to address what has been said about you, but we'll slowly get there.
Yeah.
Slowly get there.
I'll be honest, we don't even have to talk about that nonsense. I don't want to give it any kind of credibility or bullshit. But anyway, let's address it for the sake of those who care. You'll lead me, of course.
Of course, we'll start with, because there's a lot of things that the media does take out.
Yeah.
Let's just backtrack a bit, going back to when you were in Scandal. Because I think that's where most people know you from.
Yes.
And it was rumored, I don't know if it is true, that you got fired from Scandal because of your prolonged absence.
Yes.
Can you just communicate with us in terms of what happened there?
Oh, God, if I hadn't been over this story 1,000 times. But it's cool because, let's just, the type of person that I am, I'm led by my passion. Follow my passion. And if I lose my passion at whatever it is that I'm doing, I don't want to do it anymore. And what informs that passion or what diminishes that passion is obviously the relationship with your co-workers and the producers, your bosses, if you like. And it got to a stage, and it happens to everybody, where you work on something for so long, you get jaded. Scandal was a wonderful experience for me. It was, it really kicked off my career. And the first year of working on Scandal was so exciting. There was a camaraderie, there was a passion, that was, we would have done anything for that show. It was then run by Clive Morris and Mbuso Tabete. And they created a family of eager actors, age range young to old. Brasand Mkwena, Welile Nzuza, the young ones. But we were so excited and so passionate. I remember Siyabonga at night. When you start up a show, especially a soapy, the writing, scheduling, there's a lot of stress and a lot of so we on average in a soapy you'll shoot if you're comfortable 8-9 scenes a day, just to give you an idea of the workload. Then we were shooting. I remember Brasandi Mkwena, the late Brasandi Mkwena, he had the record of I think 21, 22 scenes in one day. Muso Tabete, who was the then writer of the sort, he wasn't sleeping. Literally, the poor guy he'd be writing scripts. We'd get scripts today and we're shooting tomorrow, when industry standard, you want to get scripts 2 weeks in advance, and that created a bond within us as actors, I'd go to Siyabonga Twala's house, or we'd spend extra time outside of work hours rehearsing and learning lines because we wanted to be good, the passion, wanted the story to work and everyone. But after nearly 3 years, the passion died. And then other factors play, the attitude of producers towards the actors, you know what I mean? I for one, and I'm going to speak in my sense, I like variety, I like challenge, and of course I like money and work. And the problem with soap is that you're on what they call first call basis. So you're locked down to them and they decide whether or not they can release you to go and do other productions. At that time, I got offered certain roles on international movies and to have those roles taken away for you or for somebody else to decide that you're not going to do that movie, even though you've given them notice as per contract, and you know what I mean. And these are life-changing movies or stories, work. And to have somebody else say, no, we're not going to allow you to do that is draining, it's soul destroying, you know what I mean? Especially when you love what you do. So it got to a stage where, and it's the same for everybody, where a lot of us on set, and this is like 2-3 years later, we're just jaded. We're just tired of the same routine. And that's the soapy world. It's a routine. It's like a sausage factory. And eventually, my character, Stan Yati, made love to women in every corner of that studio set. I had affairs with every kind of woman, black, white, Israeli, Indian, every part of that office.
Not your
not my, we'll talk about that one later.
Okay.
But you know what I mean? To a point where, there was nothing more that I could see the writing team and the production doing to bring back the passion and to bring back that, to inspire me. When we first got our scripts, I'd go home and you go over your lines for tomorrow and you spend time and you're excited about it and so on and so forth. Towards the end of all of that, 2.5 years later, I couldn't bear to look at the script. I knew what the writers' styles were, and I pretty much could know the lines. It just became a routine, and there was no passion. And to wake up to go to work, and the passion's gone, inspiration's gone. There was nothing more that could write for the character of Stan Nyata that could inspire me. And then, they wanted to extend contracts for another 5 years. And I fell sick. And the attitude when they called me on the Monday, it was more like, hey, you better get here, come here. Not how are you doing? Are you well? I thought, you know what, fuck them. Let me just move on. You know what I mean? And the attitude of producers or any boss towards a staff member or is really important. We want to believe that you care. You know what I mean? I care for you in so much as I add value to your product. I am making you money. And then to have no appreciation and to have that kind of attitude with that, it's like, we've used you, now you can fuck off. We don't give a shit about you. It's soul destroying, and I don't believe that should be returned. I don't feel I should return that, you know what I mean, and continue to bless. So when on the Monday, I called in sick and let them know that, look, I'm sorry, I'm sick, you know what I mean? The fact that they, the producer called back and said, look, dude, if you don't come to work, there's going to be this, that. Not are you still alive? Are you okay?
Yeah.
Sharp, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're on set shooting with a actress. She's pregnant. We're shooting. She doesn't feel well. We're in the middle of a scene, sitting actually on a sofa like this. She doesn't feel well. And this is after a light mister, actually. But anyway, she's not feeling well. She's like, guys, can we not finish this scene? She's pregnant. So we leave. They call her doctor. They call her doctor, and it's like, but can you make it so that she can work? And the doctor told him to literally F off. He said, how dare you? If my pregnant patient doesn't feel well, you let her rest. There's a baby in there. Do you know what I mean? So when the person you are working for, the person that you are adding value to, whose product you're adding value to, doesn't care about your well-being, why should you? Do you know what I mean? I made the decision, right or wrong. Fuck it, for me, at the time it was right. And I was like, no, I'm going to move on. You know what I mean?
Would you say then, at the time, Scandal became a toxic place for you to work in?
No. The nice thing is that the people around you, the cast and the crew are amazing, very supportive. I mean, there was love. Like I say, we grew that show. That first year, Clive from Clive Marsh Productions and Muso, it was Coconut Cool Productions, actually. They created a family. You know what I mean? We were so close that, like I say, Siawonga would come to my house, or I'd go to his. We'd rehearse our lines. Prasandi, we'd rehearse our lines together. Prasandi had his six-pack. Always had a six-pack as a Prasandi in his boot of his cars. I mean, let's rehearse tomorrow's scenes. We finished work today, but I've got a six-pack.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So the people around us, the guys working with us, literally lifelong friends now today. And they made it easier. You had someone to complain to, someone to, exchange, they made it easier. So the people around us made the environment survivable and bearable. Yeah.
So in a way, it did become a toxic place. It's just that the people kept you, but we can say,
I still wouldn't call it toxic. I'll be honest. It didn't feel toxic.
It got you sick.
It wasn't necessarily the environment that got me sick. It was more the attitude of individuals that got me sick. The set didn't get me sick. It was just boring.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You told, okay, it got to a point where one of our directors, Herbert, like, dude, okay, here's another kissing scene. How do you want to do this one, Dlamini? You know what I mean? And so, okay, you look around and you go, boring. He said, I've kissed in that corner, I kissed under that one, I kissed under that table, I kissed. And then you engage with, remember her name, Karen Tahoe. Karen, it's just like, Luthuli, we don't want to do this thing of romantic looking eye. No, it's a passion. Let's have passions. It's from Israel.
Okay.
I said, okay, well, what the hell? Sort of, okay, first of all, well, maybe if I rip your blouse, yes, rip my blouse open, rip it, take bra off if you want, take it, fine, Tuli, let's do it, passion. Okay, what are we going to do? Throw me on the wall, Tuli. Okay, we'll throw you on the wall. And Herbert's the director.
Yeah.
Okay, that can work. How about the table? Yes, throw on the table. Throw on the table. I know, but Luthuli, I want to be on top of this table. I throw you on table. So, you make your environment work for you as a performer, as a professional. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't remove the fact. But once you've done it all in that environment, where else are we going to make love? So the environment, the people made it bearable. The toxicity mostly came from the decision makers. As a producer and having put on that hat for a little bit, you have to make decisions that work for the bank balance, for the bottom line.
Yeah.
And sometimes you need to lose actors, sometimes you need to bring in cheaper actors, sometimes to bring in, you know what I mean? So their world and their decision-making process it's not easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, going back to how you express soapies are, how you get so grounded, or rather, you don't really have the freedom. Was it a conscious decision to now, I don't want to be in soapies, or work has just dried out for you, considering that we haven't seen you,
In soapies. It's a conscious decision to be on any kind of production for more than 6 months for me. I don't want to. I will. I can. I still want. I've had the fortune of working on a film, short productions. My grounding is theatre. You take on a challenge. In my instance, you take on a challenge. Once you've met the challenge and you've delivered, I want another challenge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And after 6 months, unless you're in America or you have a huge budget where you can afford to have a huge writing team that can come up with original lines and inspiring lines and inspiring storylines for in my experience, I haven't found that. You know what I mean? I haven't found a soapy or a drama series that has gone on for more than a year, where the writing is scintillating and the shooting is on point and it's growing and developing and getting better and better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I personally, I have to be challenged. It has to be a problem for me. I go through this routine of finding a character whenever we get a new job. And once you found that character and you're comfortable with how you're going to portray that character on set and so on and so forth, and you've worked it, then you want to show everybody. You know what I mean? You want to, show the honesty. And to keep that level of excitement and passion, relying on other people's writing and other people's control of your narrative.
Yeah.
I've found it very difficult to find. Beyond 6 months, pretty much the original ideas or new ideas, it gets boring. You watch us. And it's not just exclusive to South Africa, but any soap is anywhere in the world. Drama series. A lot of the time, there's a lot of repetition. The storyline. So this time Brooke didn't sleep with this guy, Brooke slept with that guy. And then she didn't sleep with that guy, Brooke slept with that guy. And then, let's change it. And now Brooke slept with a woman. You know what I mean? How many people are you going to sleep with? I mean, that must be a really tired working. You know what I mean? So, I'm driven by passion and originality, innovation. I really want us to get away from celebrating mediocrity.
Look out.
Yeah,
Okay.
I talk too much, don't I?
Well, you explain. I guess you can now explain to us why people think you're hopeless. I love how you mentioned earlier on, you were like, they used to come to your house and
Yeah.
have drinks.
Yeah.
That house is still
Yeah.
there.
No.
No.
I was pretty much a single young man then. Yeah. No, look, you know, human beings, the media, society, people will always talk.
Yeah.
And people will always have their version of what they've been told. Their version of what they think they have seen or what they have seen. And those, and it's no big deal until somebody makes it a big deal by embellishing. And generally over the years, this is journalists, the media, make their money from selling stories, and numbers, and so on and so forth. And if they can take a little truth and embellish it and make it a bigger, interesting story, it works for them. They get whatever 15 minutes of fame, they get a promotion at work or whatever it is. So it's rough out there in any industry.
Yeah.
And so what happens is that now with social media, it's so much easier to get your 15 minutes of fame if you stumble across something or someone that is likely to bring attention to your page and to your story. And then you spin it in a way that benefits your narrative. So my work, fortunately for me, and one of the things I love about what I do is that I travel. And I work in all parts of the country with everyone and anyone, from kings, literally, to paupers. And I spend time in those places. We have behind the Blazer a school project, a film festival. We go and we spend sometimes 2, 3, 4 months in an area, teaching maybe 10 schools, attending to 10 schools, teaching the grade 10s how to make movies. When we're in that area, because most of the time we're funding this out of our pocket or we're not staying in the Hilton Hotel.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We find the most affordable place, So if you see me walking out of a lodge in Danhauser, in the middle in Newcastle, KZN, what picture can you draw from that? What narrative can you draw from that? And maybe I'm walking out of the lodge to go buy toothpaste at the Spaza shop just on the other side of the lodge, because the schools we attend to are mostly peri-urban, rural schools. So there's not much happening. There's no Santa, there's no, 4-star, you know what I mean? And I'm a I love Ilovish, ngithanda abantu, you know what I mean? So I'm happy to walk out of the lodge or the hotel, wherever we're staying, in slippers or in my, not underwear, but, and I'll engage with people, Sometimes, guys will be sitting down and will shine on board, taking it. That's just who I am.
Okay.
Now, you watching can tell many different stories and create many different narratives about what you've just seen Luthuli do. Do you know what I mean? Oh, he walked out of this lodge wearing slippers or wearing a mapatapata. And then he sat down with this group of alcoholics, posing black label. At 10 o'clock in the morning, he sat down with them and he started drinking with them, I love engaging with people. But I went out to go buy a bar of soap to come back and wash. So this homeless narrative is incorrect. I'm not homeless.
Before I let you finish
Yeah.
there, you mentioned that it's something that you have been doing
Yeah.
for the longest time. So what was so different if you do it, if you've done it before?
So what I'm alluding to is that I don't know who saw what
Yeah.
and decided to put that out there. I don't know who that is. I don't know where this whole homeless thing started. Well, there's a lot of talk about Rambert and so forth and so on and so
I
forth.
did see that.
Yeah. And again, it's somebody has a narrative and an agenda, and they felt that for some reason, someone somewhere would benefit from creating their POV and their narrative,
Yeah.
which is an incorrect narrative. You see me coming in and out of somewhere, and you assume that you make your own assumptions, whatever they are. You know what I mean? And then you make it public, and that's the thing about the media environment now, is that social media, you can pretty much be anyone who you want to be, and say anything that you want. Well, one of the reasons I came off Twitter, or I'm less present on Twitter, is because, first of all, you don't know who you're talking to. Secondly, they can say anything they want about you, to you, or about you, your family. You know what I mean? And all you can do is reply. And now I wouldn't be able to reply the way I would like to reply on Twitter. You know what I mean? There've been instances where I've wanted to, really cuss people on Twitter, but then you think, hey, well, that's not going to sound or look good. I like using words like the F word and so on and so forth. The social media platforms have allowed anybody to pretend to wear some kind of journalistic hat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At least the major media platforms, the major newspapers, and so on and so forth, there is some kind of oversight,
Yeah.
and there is some kind of recourse. So they have to be a little bit more careful on how they report and what they report. I know ENCA reported this whole homeless thing. And it feels like they're kind of like taking advantage of a loophole, because, they are not saying that Luthuli Dlamini is homeless. What they are saying is that person says Luthuli Dlamini is homeless, and you know what I mean?
But he is not.
But no, fuck that. I mean, how can I be homeless? Dude, can I come and stay at your house for the weekend? Can I? Can I?
You may, but why?
Thank you. How am I going to be homeless? You know what I mean? I have family here. I'm not even going to address that nonsense. It's bullshit.
So the question that I had for you, or I have for you rather, is like you mentioned before, you're not really a media person who just addresses, whatever scandals that do happen, But in this case, what made you want to say, you know what, I want to address this. Whatever you guys are making out, it's not it.
You're absolutely right. Look, my normal response to a lot of the nonsense out there has been just to ignore it. You know what I mean? It's just not. There are more important things to worry about, and more important things to do with time. But the main problem has been, no matter what I say,
Yeah.
whatever my narrative may be, I could almost guarantee that it's their version or their narrative that comes out in the paper. Even when I've requested verbatim recordings of what I have said, one or two words are twisted around or not correct to give a completely different meaning to what it is that I was trying to say. So what I'm saying is that up until now, there's no way we could guarantee that what I say is going to be reported exactly the way I said it and the meaning. But now with access to this whole new, COVID opened up this digital platform, I can speak directly to the people and they can hear me say, I'm not homeless. Without it being watered down or confused with speculation, innuendo, you know what I mean? So now I can speak directly to people.
Yeah.
And take advantage of the fact that I don't have to worry about it being tampered with. I see you guys recording. I know if you tamper with this video in a negative way, I know where to find you. I can recognize, I can break your kneecaps. I fight women. I got no problem. I'm joking.
I don't know if I need to.
I'm joking. That's probably going to trend now. Luthuli Dlamini says
I'm
he
okay,
fights women.
I'm saying.
No, I'm joking. No, singabantu thina.
Yeah.
You listen to, and we may maintain those values. So the difference now is that, I can pretty
But
much
have you-
control the narrative.
I know that there's a lot of things that the media has been saying. People have been saying certain things in regards of all of this. Have you had people approach you and actually offer you things or ask you if you're on? Or it's just been on socials, that's all?
No. It's weird because, in places where you don't expect to find certain things, certain technologies, people, here, guys are coming back and telling me, Labin morning said, hey, we saw your video of you and your shoe. I just got to Losago. One of the guys that were helping him, hey, good man, let me, I can get you new shoes. I just know where we can get, So people are aware of what's happening, and it's nice. It's all around us. It's no longer a cocoon of people. Information is getting down to the most rural areas. So people, it's all around. It's all around. People are aware.
Oh, wow. But just to move away from the homeless part, but I want you guys to know, just like how Mr. Luthuli right here has just explained, he is not homeless. So hopefully that will be the last of it.
Or maybe I'm spinning another narrative.
You know what? Let's just move on to industry talk. All right? So I have a few questions for you. One of them is, have you ever turned down a role for ethical reasons?
I have a few.
Yeah.
I did it once. Played a rapist, and I raped a girl once. I think it was a drama series.
Yeah.
And it was such a horrible experience.
It sounds horrible.
Yeah, it was just, the realization that it's so easy. And that's, one of the things that's driven us to do the work that we are doing with guys like Art Vision, working with the people who have had issues in life.
Yeah.
Ladies that have been raped, GBV, drugs, prostitution, so on and so forth. And this is where we find synergy with guys like Art Vision and various other partners. Number one, help tell their story, but somehow help them. You know what I mean? And the problem is so big that you sometimes wonder what can be done.
Yeah.
So yeah, sorry. What was the question? Yeah. No. So all right. I remember. It was just, I just had an emotional moment. Okay, because of what we are working with now. Rape. So I've been offered roles where I would have had to have raped someone. I'll never do a movie where I'm raping. It's that's how. Yeah.
That sounds heavy.
Well, I think we all have
Yeah.
things that you lines we won't cross.
Yeah.
You won't sleep your way to the top. Some people will be happy to sleep their way to the top, maybe.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? But we all have our limits.
I understand.
And yeah.
Okay. And the next one that I have for you is, what's your opinion on the representation of race and gender in the SA film industry?
I have a bloody clue. What's my opinion on the representation of
Race
race?
and gender.
I think the Department of Arts and Culture have been very responsible
Mhm.
and have really made effort into sort of finding the right balance in South Africa, as in other industries, BEE, for example. You know what I mean? And it's always a difficult one because nowadays quality, originality, innovation, these are the things that sell whatever you're selling. So in order to deliver such a product, you want the best person for the job.
Sure.
And that skill set, when applied, doesn't matter what color you are. So you just want that skill set that is able to add value to your product. So it's very, very difficult anywhere in the world to kind of legislate. Okay, there must be 3/4 Indians and 3/4 colored and 3/4. You know what I mean? What percentage is fair? And then how fair is that to the whole profit making of the business in order to say, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't want to. So within our industry, the imbalance, which is the biggest imbalance for me, which is changing, and I'm happy to say that a lot of the change has come from government, inspired, of course, by those on the ground. Whereby you have, for example, our industry contributes something like 40 billion to the fiscal. It's Cape Town in 1 year probably did something like 6 billion rands worth of film business, going back some years. You almost guaranteed back then that 80%, 70, 80% of that money went to white-owned businesses. And our black production companies didn't access that money. So that's 6 billion. You know what I mean? That balance is changing. I don't know if it's changing fast enough. I don't know if it's significantly changing. But from what I see more young production companies. You guys run your own shit. You know what I mean? And you're responsible for your own business. And now you have a chance at getting at that 6 billion. And that's one of the changes that I'm happy to see. It's only fair that the money is spread out. Yeah, especially where the skill sets are broadening out.
Yeah.
So that's a nice change that I'm seeing. And I hope it's relevant to your question, which is about the different races within the industry. I mean, it's a problem everywhere. You live in the UK.
I don't think, though, that the same, well, maybe not now. I think before it used to happen, but you could tell me if I'm wrong, where it seemed like actors were just circulating. It's the same actors,
Yeah. So, yes and no. You see, you've got to grow an industry, you've got to have turnover.
Yeah.
So, us old farts can't be there all the time, as much as we love it and so on and so forth, because young talent needs to come in and they need a chance to contribute, you know what I mean, and work and so forth and gain experience. So there's always going to be change. It's finding the right balance. And then you have the problem of the number of production companies out there.
Yeah.
So you have a level of production company that has access to money. So they can afford to put together a package that will sell to SABC, DTI, and so on and so forth, and so on and so forth, because DTI will, these funding institutions want experience, maybe. And, how much experience do you have compared to, I don't know, one of these big advertising companies? So it's changing, and I think it could do with a bit more impetus. It's changing too slowly. It's too bureaucratic. You know what I mean? The procedure of applying for funding for small production companies it's a pain in the ass. The paperwork.
You wanted to say.
I did.
You wanted to.
I'm sorry. I like to say the word, but I won't. Yeah. But anyway. So where were we? I've forgotten where we were.
No, I think you just
Production company. Yeah. So things are changing. It should change fast enough. Yes, it has been a problem. But why I think the profiled actors, experienced actors are still rotating and so on and so forth is because they're sellable. They're a brand. And really, I can't sell a movie as well with people that aren't profiled as well as I can sell a movie with people that are profiled.
Yeah.
So the safest bet, because when you get your funding, you've got to promise all the various decision makers within that funding process, it's going to be a success. It's going to, what I mean?
Because this person
What?
is here.
Because so and so
Yeah.
is, and the more profiled people I can have, the greater the chance of selling that story. And at the end of the day, it's about the budget. It's about money. But platforms like YouTube, what's this one? Mzansi Magic,
Yeah.
these low budget short film. Those platforms are opening up and providing opportunity. And with that experience, because now you guys can go and shoot a 10-minute movie. And you can put it onto a platform that specializes in 10-minute movies, short films. You know what I mean? And low budget movie platforms now starting to come about. And they're important as much as we hate them. When you say low budget to anyone in production, they want to piss their pants, because nobody wants to do anything on no budget. But what that does for those that have to do low budget is it's giving them experience. And some famous directors said, just shoot every bloody weekend. Shoot something. Shoot. If you're an actor, act something. Go out into the fucking street, into the garage, and pretend you're a madman. But act. Just do it over, and that's where your passion takes you. And that's what the short film, and low budget film. Therein lies the benefit of short films and so on and so forth. So it's taking advantage of, and am I waxing lyrical? Because I can talk forever and then go off.
I think you've answered.
Yeah, have I?
You have.
Yeah.
The next one is a bit tricky. But do you think that the film industry should hold actors accountable for their off-screen behavior?
Just give it to me again.
Do you think that the film industry should hold actors accountable for their off-screen actions?
Everybody should be accountable for their actions.
Yeah.
Now, when you say film companies,
More like production.
and productions, yeah. Yes. So when I make a movie, the movie depends on the actors, profiles themselves, the activists, so on and so forth, and people behind it, but people who are profiled, you know? I don't want, so if I'm making a movie about virtue, Jesusness, integrity, and I ask you to play the role of Jesus's mother, Virgin Mary. I mean, who's ever heard a story, you know, Virgin Mother and gives, but anyway, it's in religion. And I want people to believe you in your role in the story. That, you know, there's an honesty that comes across that makes them believe that you truly are virtuous and that you are a virgin. And then tomorrow you go and you sleep with the Amazulu football team. And you video the whole thing and you put it on social media.
Yeah.
It conflicts with the narrative and the ambitions of the movie. So sometimes, in most cases, contractually, you are asked or told or made to commit to behaving in a certain manner or not behaving, but mostly it's behaving in a certain manner that will not compromise your production's opportunity. The same as if you work for a bank. Does a bank have an expectation that you behave in a certain way outside of work?
Okay.
Of course. I, as a bank owner, I don't want my customers to think that the person controlling their money was just involved in the biggest 419 scam the world has ever seen.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? So yes, I do believe that when it's contractual and it's, yeah.
I actually thought of a question when we were talking about the homeless part. With the effect that it has had recently, well, lately, how has it affected your personal life? Has it
What? How has what affected?
the rumors?
No.
Sorry, how has it affected?
Of
actually your
course
personal
it has. Yeah, no, it's pissed me the fuck off. Yeah, I'm very upset with these guys because they're taking something honest and they're embellishing it to look dishonest and without integrity. Do you know what I mean? And so it pisses me off. The insinuation, the innuendo, do you know what I mean? Affects me directly, affects the people around me directly. It's not nice. And what for? It's not like, we're going to solve poverty or solve the problem of crime by attending, you know what I mean? What are they doing it for? Just so that they can up their numbers on social media platforms. Just so that they can, sell a few more newspapers, tell a few more people this lie, convince more people of their narrative. Do you know what I mean? So yes, has it affected me? Yes, it's pissed me off. It's cost me money because I've had to spend time dealing with this issue.
Yeah.
You know, hearing what people have to say. You know what I mean? It's very upsetting. But, that's probably one of the reasons why a lot of guys in the media industry ignore this shit. I've had a lot of friends who've said, dude, don't respond. Ignore the crap. They're full of don't even, you know what I mean? Because they know that it causes stress. For what? You know what I mean? For what reason?
Yeah.
Just to get a few more likes, to get a few more hits, not for integrity, not for truth, not to teach, not to learn. You know what I mean? So yeah, it pisses me off. I can't. This particular time, it's really pissing. Most of the time, I can laugh it off. Friends will phone in and say, "Hey, dude, you're homeless. Hey, come stay with me. Hey, dude, that video. Hey, where is it? I want to go see if that chick is actual." You know what I mean? But this time, it has pissed me off.
You keep mentioning part of it, they're taking part of the truth and then turning it into whatever they're turning into. Can you just clarify which part of the truth is there?
I don't know what you mean. So it's some of the stories that have come out, absolute complete falsehoods. Over the years, I've been accused of being gay, or one of you know what I mean. There's lots of So, for example, I live in one part of Joburg.
Yeah.
And that's far from all the business that I do. So I spend a lot of time in another part of Joburg, a lot of time. So somebody might say, okay, well, he lives here because I spend a lot of time there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Gati, the reason that I'm spending time there is because it's a convenience thing. So they'll take that truth, and then embellish it, and it becomes a whole different story. You know, he's staying there because he's homeless, because he's on drugs, because he's doing this, because he's doing that. So it's easy to take a small truth
Okay.
and release that in the media because there's some substance to it. Do you know what I mean? But then it's also easier to create a false narrative out of that truth. So they'll take a small truth and embellish it. You know what I mean? Oh, you're yellow bone. But you're yellow bone because you use ambi cream. You know what I mean? So yes, you are yellow bone. But do you use ambi? You know what I mean? So now this lady on TV, this one of the, she uses ambi cream. You know, is what they hear. Because some prick sitting somewhere wants to up numbers and uses a false narrative from a truth.
Okay. I think you've answered it.
Have I?
You have.
Okay. As long as you're happy.
And then, lastly, how do you navigate the balance between artistic freedom and public criticism?
How do I balance the narrative? How do I balance what?
How do you navigate?
Yes,
the balance between artistic freedom and public criticism. I think it's basically what you are going through.
In my process of navigating, criticism isn't really much of a factor, or the fear of criticism. It may be if I want that criticism to help the marketing. So, I don't go to work or plan or think of what I'm going to do because of what people might think or what people might criticize. There's positive criticism, there's negative criticism. If you listen and believe and jump to the tune of positive criticism, you're going to end up jumping to the tune of negative criticism, and you get depressed, and now you go, let me shoot myself because everybody hates me. You know what I mean? So it's not a factor. It's not a huge factor. Maybe if we're sitting in the marketing office of the business or of the navigation, you might think, okay, well, what can people say about this?
Yeah.
How will it affect our marketing strategy? You know what I mean? But as a creative, with the kind of work that I do, I don't do it because the criticism is going to be a problem to me. What they say doesn't mean that I am a good or bad person at what I do, or a good or bad actor. I'm a good or bad actor with or without criticism. You know what I mean? So no. It's just irritating to having to deal with. It's part and parcel of the job, I suppose. Par for the course, as they would say, or occupational hazard.
Okay. All right. I think on my end, that does round it off. Thank you so much.
Okay, we're done already.
Do you still want to say more?
Or don't you want to ask more?
I think you practically addressed.
Did you go to the Chris Brown concert?
I did not. I wish I could have. I don't know why he didn't come to Durban, though.
Okay.
Joburg. So yeah, I did not. Would have loved to. Hopefully next time you will.
Come to thingy.
Yeah. And plus, I think I just haven't had enough time to actually go out.
How long have you been doing this podcast thing? How
Are
long?
you interviewing me
No,
now?
we're having a discussion. I just a podcast. We can do whatever we want. You know what I mean? But how long have you been doing this?
It's been a year now.
1 year. And
Dude.
what have you learned from it?
Oh my God. I'm not used to being
Well, let's be
No,
spontaneous.
I feel like I'm supposed to be asking you questions.
It's okay. Do you enjoy it? Number one.
I do.
Number two, are you making money out of it?
We are getting there.
Okay.
We are getting there. Not really making the money that we want to be making.
Why not?
We're not there yet. I think are you gonna help us make that money?
Are you going to pay me?
We can talk.
That's why I'm homeless. Is because y'all not using me, you're not paying me. I'm not homeless. Okay.
Maybe we should just cut right down and
No, let's carry on recording. Let's run with it. What are you doing tonight?
Tonight I'll be home sleeping.
You're not going to be thinking about work or anything.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not.
not. It seems.
See, that's the problem with you youth of today. When I was your age,
A long time.
long time ago, we went to bed 4 o'clock in the morning because we were figuring out a strategy for our company. For someone else's company. But that's how dedicated guys were to their careers and their businesses. A friend of mine, Herman, set up he worked for a recruitment company, left with some of their clients, set up his own recruitment, bought office, whatever. And we were up all night, I think for 2 days, just wiring his office.
Stop.
That's how, you know what I mean, to give him a push for his company. You guys are busy. What were you doing up until, why aren't you focusing on
I shouldn't be
making
sleeping.
this?
I shouldn't be sleeping. That's what you're saying.
You're young. You're young. And if I don't sleep, I'll have a heart attack. I'm old. You guys have still got the energy. And I tell you what, it's through that arduous process of staying awake and struggling and crying over the problem that you find the innovation, that innovative idea
Yeah.
that'll give you that slight edge in your market and will help you make a shitload of money and get your, I love lecturing. So as long as you guys are recording, I'll carry on talking.
No, just
So the youth of today is spending too much time on Facebook and YouTube watching videos of people shooting themselves in the bottom with new guns and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Whereas innovation comes, there's a saying, necessity is the mother of invention.
I feel like our father is just.
Pastor. I'm old enough to be your father.
Yes, but I'm just saying this feels like a father-daughter kind of talk.
Yeah.
So I'm just there like, but I definitely understand.
Yeah, well, you want me to carry on talking, I'll carry on talking. What do you think about what's happening in Syria with Assad and America?
Is it
Israel?
I think I saw a bit in terms of the prisoners that have been released. Is that what we are referring to?
No, but yes, that is another important story.
I think they were there for like 3 months.
Something like that. But also, when you talk about prisoners, one of Assad, and I'll just one of his generals used to feed prisoners to lions.
Stop.
So, this is what is happening around the world. But what's more important to some of our guys is whether or not Luthuli Dlamini is homeless or not. I mean, let's put things in perspective. There's a lot of more important things to talk about. Yeah. And I challenge social media people, journalists or whatever, challenge yourself. Don't accept mediocrity. Look for an important story. that really matters. That, you know what I mean? And sensationalism is old, it's hacked, and it's killing our minds of, you know what I mean? People are dying out there, and it's affecting you directly. There are a lot of things in your neighborhood, around the neighborhood, that are happening under your eyes, and you're not seeing it. It's more important that, women getting beaten, prostitution,
There is actually
drugs,
something that
you know what I mean?
came out, was it last month or just a few weeks back?
Yeah.
Just want your opinion in terms of our president
Yeah.
saying that Nigerians now won't need a passport
Yeah. Yeah.
to get into South Africa.
Yeah.
To take on that.
Yeah. Brilliant. And it's brilliant. Look, I am a Pan-Africanist, if you like. No? I hate what colonialism and the greedy West has done to Africa. So, whenever we talk about growing, uniting, providing more opportunity to develop and grow together to make ourselves successful, I'm happy, because bad news travels faster than good news. You hear more bad things about Nigeria and Nigerians than you do good things. Nigeria, for example, is the second biggest trader of Bitcoin in the world. Highest number of doctors in America. This guy, but you only know of the bad.
Sure.
And then what happens is the media then propagandizes the whole thing, guys with agendas, and then they create this whole xenophobic, so let's keep the black African people fighting each other so that they can continue exploiting and taking care of whatever it is that they're exploiting and taking care of. What's wrong? Europe has opened up all of Europe to Europe. You've got the biggest criminals in the world are in Europe, are European. And yet they've opened up their borders. You can now travel throughout Europe willy-nilly and freely. Why should that be a problem in Africa? Why can't we live together and work on positive things? Because we have done in the past. Nigeria is a great contributor to South Africa's independence and Rhodesia's independence. You know what I mean? Why should they be an enemy? There's good and bad in everyone. There are good, bad South Africans, good, bad Nigerians, good, bad white people, good, bad Luthulis. You know what I mean? Yes, you will get a lot of problems, but there is a lot of benefit that we are not acknowledging and talking about. Nigeria is one of the biggest exporters of oil in the world. Now imagine if, we have a very friendly, strong relationship with the Nigerians, and we can get them to pipe their shit to us here and save us billions. But we're focusing on what's dividing
You're the
us.
first person that, because I've been communicating with a lot of people, conversing rather, about this new law. Now, I think also the people that I have been speaking to are my youth. So this is just, I suppose I understand for somebody who's a bit older, the kind of information that you're giving. Because when I did ask in terms of their opinion, it was all about, oh my God, human trafficking, oh my God, drugs and stuff.
Yeah, it's absolutely...
Only heard bad things. So in my mind, it was like...
Well, this is a thing. And why are you only hearing the bad things? Bad news travels, sensationalized. Someone sits behind a desk and thinks, okay, this story about this guy killing will sell more than this guy giving $1 million to a South African charity. Do you know how much Nigerians have donated to South African charities and causes? And you know, it runs in the millions, hundreds of millions, probably, I don't know. But why is it a problem? Why is this negative narrative pushed with all? Name me a southern, an African country that, from the perspective of South Africa, has a wonderful image created about it. Zimbabwe. How wonderful is the image created by the media about Zimbabweans? Tanzania, there's a story recently about a Tanzanian murder or whatever. And yet, the business that is happening between Zimbabwe and South Africa, and you know what I mean? There's a lot of good shit happening. But why is that negative, xenophobic narrative being pushed in the media? It's someone with an agenda. And we fall for it. And that's the problem of our current, social media platforms, is that these guys now, can feed this information. And the more times I tell you that you are ugly, you will believe it eventually. Do you know what I mean? And it's plain to see. Stories that last and have longevity here. There's an agenda behind them. I've never heard of any story in the media that stayed in the media over 10 years. Zuma story is still today, you know what I mean? People are still making jokes, and you get little quips on the radio station. The shower scene, you know what I mean? There's an agenda that's being pushed by someone. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't fall for it. You guys wanna go home now?
I want to go home.
God, it just got
We can listen to him. So.
I'm running out of battery. This one is dead.
Oh, for fuck's sake, get Duracell, man. It lasts forever.
Okay. But like I said, it's been a pleasure.
No, thank you
It's
very
been a
much for having me.
pleasure.
Allow me the platform.
Yes, and thank you for addressing what social media has been saying.
Yeah, well, I'm doing it for you guys and for me.
More for us.
Yeah.
Well, do you want them to find you on the social media platform? Where can they find you?
Instagram.
Instagram.
Yeah, I might look. The other, I think I have one page on Twitter, but I stopped X a while ago.
Yeah.
I think with the current attention that we've been getting, we're going to take advantage of that and start. I'll get back and become, as I'm told, I should be more social media relevant.
Yeah.
So for now, Instagram. I don't know which camera. Soon we'll get a Facebook. Look, there's a lot of really exciting things. Actually, I like the idea that they've sold it to me.
Yeah.
It's our responsibility to tell people about what we're doing, the good things that we're doing. We're working with grade 10 kids teaching how to make movies. It's the industry. We're working with Art Vision, who are providing sanctuary for creatives. We're working with various partners to help them. So yes, I think this is a really nice opportunity. I like the idea that we can get the good information about what we are doing out there and not have to rely on guys who are doing things to themselves in the privacy of their own room in front of a laptop and a camera.
Okay, well, there you have it. You can get him on Instagram, which is Luthuli Dlamini, right?
I think so, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And also other things, other pages will be coming up. But as for us, guys, you do know it is Unpage. And remember, that is UNCVGE. That is on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok as well. Am I missing something else? Yeah, I think that is it. And also myself, it's Masi Biyela. That is MASI_Biyela, BIYBLA. That is on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook. It's Masi Biyela, and also on TikTok as well. And of course, my crew. I got Geniclens. I got F Money. And then we have a visitor today. Right? Is he with you? Geniclens. Or do I have?
My friend working everywhere.
Oh, it's just.
He's also Geniclens.
Oh, okay, so it's all Geniclens.
I just want to know, can I take these potato chips home with me?
Anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope it was entertaining for you, as how it was for me. I think at some point I was just getting lectured and stuff like that. But anyways, we will catch you on the next episode. Thank you.